are in the same old spot, knowing something needs to happen, but our mouths are locked, tongue-tied, closed-tight, sealed shut. Yup. I tried hard, but it just wouldn't come up. It's on the tip of my tongue, it's in the front of my mind, yet the words were still so hard to find. Finally, the reality of things to come pushed me to the edge. I jumped off the cliff into the abyss as I said, I'm not trying to be a nuisance, I just think we can do better than this. That was simply my 2 cents. You can take it or leave it. The conversation lingered on, and before I knew it, night had turned to dawn. And were we searching for the truth in all of it? Are we debating just to win the argument? Cause none of us want to hear about where we go wrong. This song could easily be...
Here we are at the Laurel High School, interviewing John Reuben and members of his band, and we have some questions for John and the guys. We have John, Seth, and Jonathan. Jonathan is the bass player. So tell us, John, what is your...
You had to highlight that he was the bass player.
I had to highlight that he was a bass player because there's a brotherhood, a kinship there that I will not emphasize under any circumstances. So, John, tell us about your spiritual journey, how the Lord led you in this direction, and how you started your ministry with the band, and how the guys all got together.
Well, I don't know how much of an interesting story it is, but I just have always enjoyed writing and working through songs, and I always felt as the closer I grew in my understanding of God and my relationship with the Lord, the more the songs just kind of naturally took that turn. And so when I was offered a deal maybe 10 years ago, it was with a Christian label, and yeah, I just partnered with them, and I've gone through a series of different guys I've worked with and played with and whatnot. And I've known Seth now for about 4 years, met him at church, and I've known Jonathan for about 3 or 4 years, and so this has been a pretty good crew for quite some time.
Yeah. So how many total members are in your band?
It's just us 3 right
Just 3, okay, good. So, well, and you make a lot of noise with 3 guys.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So, Seth, what are you? Drummer?
I play drums, yeah.
Drum, I see.
Yeah.
And now, Jonathan, do you also sing?
Well, live, yes, absolutely. Just to make it clear, actually, on the record, Seth actually produced it, and he's actually a very much more than me competent bass player, and did a lot of the bass playing. Oh, well, does all the instruments on the record and all the vocals and things like that. Other than John, they work together on that sort of stuff. So as far as like live stuff goes, yeah, I do vocals and I do bass, and it's a lot of fun.
So he plays everything. The guitarist is actually his first instrument.
Oh, I see.
So he's a great bass player. So
yeah.
You don't worry, you'll still feel that.
Oh yeah, I mean it'll be there.
We'll feel the love with the bass.
You'll still
right?
feel like
Absolutely.
one.
Yeah.
You'll feel united and great kinship.
Yeah.
He's a good bass player too.
Well, did you play in any other type of band before you got with John?
Just my own stuff really, and like locals and friends and things like that.
I see.
So in mostly Mansfield, which is an hour north of Columbus, which is where their previous bass player is from, who I knew, and that's how I joined the band anyway. So it worked out.
I see. So you met Seth at church.
Yeah.
And so did you know John before you
No,
came to
I mean,
church there?
I had heard, oh, there's this Christian rapper who goes here
Yeah.
to our church, and I kind of took a different path than these 2 guys. I went to college for music, and then I was in like jazz bands and wedding bands and these kinds of things locally in Columbus, and then I was involved at our church's worship bands too. And so it's like it was like, oh yeah, there's a guy who goes here, his name's John Reuben, and so I wasn't really into Christian music at all, and so but we had known each other, and then he needed like a drummer. He knew how we played a little bit from worship teams. And
so it was a good blend.
Yeah.
In other words. Good. Was this part of a summer tour, like you're going from city to city to city, or?
To tonight's stop?
Yes.
Well, we're kind of doing like like handfuls of runs. Like we've strung a few runs together throughout the summer. We're not necessarily like on a massive tour, but this is the 6th show of 7, and then we're overnighting it back to Columbus because he's got to play at church in the morning.
Oh.
So he's got rehearsal on Saturday night.
So we take it you're not driving then, so.
Oh, no, yeah.
Yeah.
We are.
Yeah, we're driving it.
No.
We,
You're your own roadies.
No, we are a multitasking band.
I see.
And everybody has like 2 or 3 jobs.
So you lug your own stuff,
Yeah.
you set it up, break it down,
Yeah.
haul it away.
Yep.
Yep.
Okay.
And he will be driving throughout the night to get us home. So
Oh.
yeah, for real, we're driving.
Oh, wow. What's that like?
That's
1,200
about-
miles or?
No, it's about 14 hours.
Oh, okay.
Because we'll be in Lamar's, Iowa tomorrow.
Oh.
Yeah.
It might be about 1,000 miles.
Almost. Maybe it's like 900.
Now, you're married?
Yeah.
Is that right?
Yep.
Tell us about your family.
Well, I've been married now, it'll be 8 years this summer, and we recently just had our first kid about 3 months ago, 3.5 months ago.
Is he musically talented like his dad?
She.
Oh, she.
And, a couple times, Wyatt and I have kind of, sometimes I'll watch her in the morning while my wife works part-time. I've recited some of my verses for her, working on some of my rhymes, and she seemed to really enjoy them.
Oh.
To the point where she would smile when I would recite them. And then when I
Plant those
stopped,
seeds.
she kind of looked at me, and then so she likes to be talked to a lot, so it kind of works out well because I can mess with my lyrics.
Oh.
I just do them in a baby voice.
Yeah, kind of like that guy that sang that song, "If Cartoons Got Saved," that.
Oh
Yeah,
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 that's right.
so-
Yeah, yeah.
But Seth, are you married?
I am.
Are you?
I've been married about a year and 3 months, year and 4 months.
Okay.
So, yeah,
So you're just on this journey.
I'm on the newer end of the journey.
I see.
Yeah.
Okay.
And he's an even newer.
Oh, you're married?
Got married in September, yeah.
Oh,
so
good.
So not even a year yet.
I see. Okay. Good. Getting back to your families. Well, is there anything that you would want the people to know that I haven't asked about? Something that really brighten their day?
Each and every one of them is very special to us. That's what we want them to know, and that should brighten their day
Yeah.
incredibly.
Yeah.
That's right.
So.
I'm trying to think of something clever here. I should probably just think of something sincere.
Well, then let me ask you this, in probably wrapping this up. What would you say would be your group's mission statement?
It's funny, like, I remember back in the day they would have me, some people would ask me to write out a mission statement, and that was really hard for me, because, it was always really hard for me because, it's hard to know what it's going to look like 5-10 years down the road, and probably about a couple of years ago, I came across a devotional about the idea of just being obedient, and that you have no control over what happens after you're obedient. And I think so many times we think, well, if we're doing what we feel like God's calling us to do, well, then this will equal this, this, and this. And the reality is we don't know what that's going to look like, or even if we're going to be here too.
Yeah.
And so, for me, I think for a lot of us, it's every day about being devoted and renewing our mind and writing great songs and being honest and transparent in our music and engaging audiences, and I think that's the greatest thing we can do as believers to share our faith. And so, I have goals.
Yeah.
And you have things you'd like to see happen, but I think that the key thing, the fundamental thing is make great music and be obedient to the Lord.
Excellent. Seth, you or Jonathan have anything to add to that?
Pretty much sums it up, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. That's
very clear.
yeah.
And guys, just so you know, they normally don't do interviews, so this is their first
Oh,
time.
is this your first one?
Yeah.
I hope we haven't made it too scary for
No.
you. Okay.
Yeah.
Most of the time, people just don't care.
Yeah, and this is a really good setting for it in the library.
Yeah.
I've been looking at the machine over there, seeing
Me.
with
This is kind of intellectual thing here.
That's right.
A question was asked by a viewer. What do you do to keep your faith fresh when you're on the road?
go
Faith fresh.
into the journey underneath?
That's always a good question. It's a very complicated, big question because I think you learn to not solely rely on your emotions or how you feel. And I think that's the beauty of standing on truth, opposed to just the fact that you're going to have bad days because the road is draining and exhausting, and sometimes you don't feel like you have much personality, and so sometimes it moves into repetition, and I think that's okay. I know some people will say, well, you know, you got to kind of muster up that fire and all that, and sometimes, and a lot of times, that's a good amount of life that's not there, and we operate off of what we know to be true, and we navigate tough waters to what we know to be true, and so I think we found a lot of, we've reaped a lot of like health and you know, some good things because of healthy conversations and, you know, constantly renewing our mind, but also when you're not feeling it that day, not giving into it, and just kind of, wouldn't call it fake until you make it, but I would just say operating on some deeper disciplines and stuff.
And if you don't mind me adding to that, like something that I've actually always taken away from travels and has really helped me while being on the road is because a lot of people, or if we travel with other people, they'll be like, you know, here we'll sit down, we'll do devotionals at this time, and etc. And I've never really been good at operating like that. And with these guys, I feel like we're all on the same page where it's like we just talk, and what comes up is just so amazing. If we say something not out of turn, but something that's like, whoa, I don't know if that's really, you know, is what, you know, is in what God wants, or, you know, like those sort of things. We all kind of just even each other out a little bit. I feel like I don't know, we just kind of say how we feel about things with theology or with our lives or how it applies to us, and we all express it and encourage each other and things like that. And that's really helped me out personally, keeping it on the road.
And there's a lot of, you have, not to cut you off,
No.
but you have a lot of 6 to 8 hour drives, and so instead of just chopping it up into, you know, a little regimen, and I think it's good, and don't get me wrong, that's not a knock on the idea that you do devotions here, here, and here, but I mean, we've actually, sometimes I'd say we'd have devotions for 5 or 6 hours.
Right. Yeah. Because like a mid-small group that's traveling across.
Exactly. We're all stuck with each other for a while.
And that's honestly how it feels sometimes.
And it's
nice.
And we enjoy it. You know, it's fun to talk about the Lord. It's fun to talk about, like, you know, what He's doing, and, you know, and sometimes some questions you have, and working through some struggles you have, or some ideas that, you know, there's just, it's fun. It's actually, it's not something that's just like, oh, we gotta go get this devotion thing done. You know, it's like, hey, I just read this thing. This is interesting. You know, and
so it comes more naturally.
It's very natural,
absolutely.
and it's been very freeing for.
And you know, you figure too, you got different personalities, different backgrounds, which could be a context for clash and so forth. But yet you have that one common denominator being the Lord, which levels the playing field for everybody. So that's probably the experience that you're finding. So that's good. Because I know with a lot of groups that are on the road, you know, secular or whatever, the temptations are there, and just the fatigue and everything that goes on, just it grates on you, that actually trying to undermine your ministry there. And it sounds like you guys have a grip on that. Your guard, you know, putting up the guardian there for that. Well, that's great. I'm sure that the people who watch this interview would be appreciative to see that. So,
awesome.
Well, guess we'll wrap this up. We've been interviewing John Reuben, Seth, and Jonathan, the members of his band, and they're going to be holding a concert here at the Laurel High School. We're all looking forward to that. Let's eat.
Thanks.
Let's think about this path that we're taking. Let's think about this future we're creating. Let's think about this life that is fading. Think about it, come on, think about it now. Let's think about this time that we're spending, investing in monetary things that are ending. Let's think about it.